Today, we will explain how to apply nominal group technique and Delphi technique in identifying the risks of a business entity and compare the similarities and differences of these tools. Nominal group technique was originally developed by Delphi and Van de Ven. This technique is defined as a structured method for small group brainstorming that ensures everyone could contribute their idea and minimize the domination of discussion by a single person. In the fast-changing business environment, the businesses need to identify the business risks faster to preserve their seat in this game. So, a suitable method to collect ideas from a group of people and integrate different ideas into a well-documented decision need to exist. The nominal group technique would be suitable under this situation. To identify business risks using nominal group technique, there are 5 stages we need to follow. First, explanation. The moderator had to describe the way of nominal group technique will be conducted and present an open-ended question to all participants. For example, in a research to identify the risk of young people to admitted to inpatient mental health care, after explaining the nominal group technique, the open-ended question given to the participant was, what do you think are the risks for young people as they make the transition into, through and out of inpatient CAMHS? Second, silent idea generation. The participants are given up to 20 minutes to brainstorming silently and list out all the risks respond to the question in the post-it note provided. As there might be different roles between participants, the risks listed between participants might vary as well. Thus, a silent reflection is crucial in this part to minimize any third party's influence towards the ideas. Third, round-robin recording of idea. Once time's up, the moderator must ask one participant at a time to describe a single idea to the group and continue successively by others in turn. Participants can think of new ideas during this process, but must wait until their turn to share the ideas with the group. By doing this, every participant gains the opportunity to voice their opinion equally. The important rule in this stage is no discussion among participants, and any additional ideas should be equally noted by the participants. This stage is recommended to take as much time as needed until no new ideas are forthcoming. All the ideas will be recorded in the same words as were used originally. Fourth, serial discussion of ideas. In this stage, a neutral group discussion is allowed. All participants are free to exclude, include, or alter the ideas. Commonly, similar risks are sorted together, and each participant is given equal opportunity to present, question, and clarify the list of risks. A critical point in this stage is that every participant should have the same understanding of all the ideas presented. In the final stage, participants are then provided with a ranking sheet. All the risks should be ranked according to its severity and frequency. This stage can be either worked individually or as a group. Once finished ranking, the group should be able to identify the complete list of risks the business is facing. These risks in the list should list according to the rank, which is the risk that most critical to the list for the business. And another meeting shall call upon for risk analysis and solution making.
Another useful risk identification tool is Delphi technique. Delphi technique was originally conceived by Olaf Helmer and Norman Delphi. This technique is a method that allows experts respond to questions and to reach others until reaching agreement on an issue. In a competitive business environment today, business always stick to the expertise advice and the appropriate solution to identify and mitigate the business risk. However, business always facing 2 problems. Firstly, experts difficult to have physical meeting at the same time. Secondly, experts might affect by dominant individual when the group-based process. To solve the problem, a series of questions delivered to participants via electronic communication such as email. They also provide anonymity to participants to encourage idea generation and reduce dominance by a particular individual. So, how the Delphi technique process is going on? Before the Delphi technique is being applied, they carefully to assemble a group of participants. To make sure the effective outcome, the selective participant must have great interest and identify as an expert in that field. Besides, the technique requires to form a group of moderators that are responsible for giving, collecting, analyzing, summarizing information. Next, moderators will have a meeting that set the questions related to the list which need to be identified, and they send the questions to participants. The process of Delphi technique will go through 4 rounds. The moderators will monitor, manage, analyze the feedback along the process. In the first round, participants answer the open-end questions and submit to the moderators in the specific time given. Moderators need to convert the collected information into well-structured question A. For example, company want to identify the risk of obesity. Participants may answer heart disease, stroke, or kidney problems. Moderator collect this information and convert into well-structured question A, such as risk of obesity may cause heart disease, such as chest pain, shortness of breath, or chest discomfort. The second round, each participant receives the question modified in the first round. In this stage, participants required to make a rating of 1 to 10 according to the priorities among items. For example, the rate 10 to the questions which is the most effective and practical, and rate 1 to questions which is the least effective and practical. Moderator collect the response, analyze it, and make a summary. The third round, participants receive the rating summary. In this stage, summary chart may be presented. Participants identify the area of agreement and disagreement. Participants also asked to revise their judgment and specify the reason for remaining outside the consensus. For example, a participant thinks the heart disease is not a risk of obesity. He may make a clarification based on his knowledge and experience. The responses are analyzed and summarized and feedback to participants for reactions until the participants reach agreement. Delphi technique applied in the real world. For example, in 2019, Belgian Federal Police used Delphi technique to identify the risk and forecasting future development of crime. Not only that, in 2018, Delphi technique used in the field of public transport research. They successfully identified the main risk, caused the accident, and organized a risk mitigating strategy. The advantage of Delphi technique is participants could focus on ideas rather than individual because of anonymity. However, it consumes a long time to get a result because participants can reconsider their opinion until they reach agreement.
And now let us move on to the next part. Compare and contrast between Delphi technique and nominal group technique. There are similarities and differences between them. So what are those? Let's find out. There are 4 similarities lies between both techniques. Number 1. Suitable for small group discussion. Both techniques are free to use anytime, anywhere as long as the participants exist and taking part in identifying risk. Number 2. Appreciation towards the contribution of ideas generated. Presence of participants create an encouraging atmosphere to share ideas. The ideas generated take a serious concern to identify risk that impact the company the most. Number 3. Discourage domination in decision-making process. Every participant given priority to voice out their opinions in identifying risk, enabling everyone to be treated equally in making better decisions. Number 4. Utilize ranking methods. The ideas generated are ranked accordingly to identify the most significant risk, supported by quantitative and qualitative measures. Next, we'll move on to the differences. Differences are also obvious between Delphi and nominal group technique. Number 1. Participants of group discussion. Participants of Delphi technique must have certain level of knowledge towards discussion topic to ensure the quality of the idea generated, while anyone can be the participants of nominal group technique as long as the participants are involved in the discussion. Number 2. Time taken to reach consensus. Delphi technique takes a longer time than nominal group technique, as iterations need to undergo to ensure the best quality of the questionnaire to obtain the best result in identifying risk. While nominal group technique, time taken to reach consensus is short in order to identify the risk as soon as possible in the discussion after taking everyone's opinion in consideration. Number 3. Communication. There is passive communication in Delphi technique, as the decision-making is based on questionnaire results. Anonymity is present to encourage cooperation of the participants in answering questionnaire and to avoid repercussions among individual panelists. However, this is totally opposite in nominal group technique, as decision-making is based on face-to-face communication. The anonymity does not exist as the identity of participants are exposed during the discussion.